If you stop and look up high, above the central window, you can see a date block inscribed Brown's Block, 1884, J.M. and P. Peterson, Builders. Mons Brown was among the many immigrants that turned Litchfield into a thriving commercial center in its early years. Born in Norway, he came to the United States with his parents in 1850, settling first in Chicago, where he spent the next 14 years. In 1869, he settled in the Litchfield area, just before the railroad arrived, and opened a successful hardware store and tin shop. Recognized for his business prowess, Brown would serve as Litchfield's first town clerk. In 1884, he opened a general merchandise store in his new building. The earliest settlers in Litchfield were primarily native-born Americans. Most were from New York, the New England states, Kentucky, and Virginia. With the coming of the railroad, though, everything changed. The St. Paul and Pacific offered land on generous terms and distributed pamphlets in German, Norwegian, and Swedish that praised Minnesota's prospects. For example, in 1874, Swedish writer Hugo Nisbeth published a popular book in Stockholm entitled 2 Years in America. In it he wrote, "We left St. Paul, and after passing through a pretty variable countryside, arrived in the afternoon at the tiny 2-year-old town of Litchfield. This town has an almost exclusively Swedish population, all in good circumstances. We decided to remain there a few days in order to visit the neighboring farmers. In a comfortable wagon, we rode the next day into the neighboring country for distances varying from 10 to 15 miles, and everywhere we met honest and faithful Swedes, owners of neat houses and waving fields of grain, happy in their family life and holding sacred the ancient Swedish hospitality. Around Litchfield, the larders must have been full, to judge from the groaning tables and the good conditions of the granaries and stables." To make the transition easier, the railroad built an immigration house near the depot in Litchfield, where newcomers would be greeted and provided with a place to stay so that they would have time to search for a farm. It worked. In 1910, the census shows that half of the county's 18,000 residents were of Scandinavian descent. So when one walks up Sibley Avenue, you'll hear the names like Olson, Palm, Benson, and Peterson, and this building with the somewhat un-Scandinavian name of Brown.